Hey there, and welcome back to the next episode of the BoardGame Sherpa channel, the channel whose goal is to take the fear out of learning new board games and put the fun back in. Well, this episode is a little different. The BoardGame Sherpa, that's me, went to DEXLite 2023 this past weekend and had an interesting time. I wanted to share my thoughts on what went right in the convention, what went wrong, and how they could fix things in the future. Cue the intro. So, what is DEXLite 2023? It's a small gaming convention that was held Thursday, June 29th through Sunday, July 2nd, 2023 at the Morristown Hyatt Regency in Morristown, New Jersey. It focuses on board games, war games, role-playing games, LARPing, and has a slant towards indie games, which I can definitely appreciate as a wannabe game designer. It is run by a company called Double Exposure, which gave it the DEX part of its name. The light part is because they have been running larger events like DEXCON and Dreamation since 1992. And since this was their first con back since the pandemic, it's a lot smaller, so light. However, the light part did not translate to the price of the convention. The cost of a 4-day badge was $75, which on the surface wasn't unreasonable considering a GenCon 4-day pass is $135 and a PAX Unplugged 3-day pass is $80. But if you start comparing apples to apples, it kind of slips into an unreasonable, if not ridiculous price for what attendees got. The most obvious problem that it really isn't a 4-day pass. On Thursday, the show opens at 6 p.m. and has absolutely nothing going on except open gaming, which basically means that there are tables out and attendees have to bring their own games to play. Kind of like a free cafeteria or library table. No events, no artists, no vendors, nothing. Also, that Thursday pass is free if you buy any of the single-day passes. But I get it. 4-day sounds a lot better than 3-day pass, but it really isn't. Going deeper, the 4-day pass is $75, but the individual day passes are $55 for Friday, $65 for Saturday, and $30 for Sunday, when most events are over and people are leaving. So why would you not get a 4-day pass? Unless you're only going Thursday and Sunday, of course. Since the pricing is similar to PAX Unplugged and GenCon, it's only fair to compare DEXLite 2023 to them, right? GenCon and PAX are also still recovering from COVID, but they were still super jam-packed with events, vendors, publishers, panels, and organized and open gaming. I spent 3 days at both of those conventions, yet I feel like I only saw a fraction of what was going on. I have always felt like I got my money's worth those two cons, even with the high hotel and travel expenses. But with DEXLite 2023, I felt gypped. And here's why. According to the website, DEXLite will be a 4-day convention, and we are not going to be offering some of the staples of DEXCON history. The con suite, along with our famous parties, the arena, signature events, and opening ceremonies. We don't know how many attendees to expect, so we're cutting back programming in all areas. I will give them points for honesty, but I didn't realize just how much they cut back. Yet, they charged more than what they did pre-pandemic. There were maybe 10 vendors in the room and 3 artists in Artist Alley. I got there at 10 a.m. Friday morning, hoping to scout everything out, but the vendor room opened at noon and I had to run out until 6 p.m. When I got back, the vendor room was a ghost town. All the vendors were chatting amongst themselves or busy on the phones, a sure sign that they had no business throughout the day. And there was only one vendor in the vendor room selling non-popular board games at a gaming convention. The rest were D&D themed jewelry and dice and independent authors. It was nice enough stuff, but as the BoardGame Sherpa, I really do have a preference toward board games. As a quick aside, there were no promotion of these artists and vendors on the website or anywhere. Which brings me to another big problem with the show. Their signage was horrible, and there was no map available, either online or on their walls. The Hyatt Regency is a big maze, and DEXLite had their ticket registration all the way in the back and not have one sign out front indicating where it was. I've been to multiple shows from Double Exposures in the past at this location, and I still had to ask random attendees for directions. And I was there for almost an hour before I realized there was a whole board gaming area upstairs, which I actually thought was really well done when I found it. Also, the event schedule was light. I went through the DEXLite schedule events many times and couldn't find any events or panels that were even slightly interesting. This isn't unusual for me, as I've gone through thousands of GenCon and PAX Unplugged events on their schedule, and rarely find ones that are interesting and aren't sold out. But I still have incredible fun at those shows, talking to the vendors, other gamers, publishers, and just watching all the things going on. But there wasn't anything else going on at DEXLite 2023. If I wasn't there for the show, I would never have guessed there was a convention going on in the hotel. Well, there was one giveaway that there was a show going on. Every convention attendee was wearing a COVID mask, while nobody else in the hotel was. All attendees were required to wear masks and show proof that they were vaccinated against COVID. Now, I absolutely believe in the vaccine, and if people feel more comfortable wearing masks, I totally respect the concerns and right to wear one. But to make that mandatory in July 2023 is a little extreme. Even the ultra-careful state of New Jersey lifted their mask mandates in health facilities. And if you forgot to bring a mask, DEXLite 2023 had the audacity to charge people $2 for a mask after they just spent $75 for the con. That was the biggest slap in the face to attendees. Just give people the mask if you're going to make them wear it. I know they cost money now, but that's because it isn't officially mandatory anymore. Okay, even with all that said, I really want Double Exposure, DEXLite, and all its associated shows to succeed. As a board gamer, I want a legit board game show 15 minutes away from my house in New Jersey. And since I'm not in a position to start my own board game convention right now, the best I can do is help Double Exposure fix its glaring problems. Now you may ask yourself, who does this BoardGame Sherpa knucklehead think he is? And it's a perfectly legit question. So let me give you a quick rundown. I have been working with Garden State Comic Fest since 2016. It's the biggest pop culture and artist convention in New Jersey, and I am the merchandise officer, charity representative, sponsorship manager, and cosplay liaison. So I have seen and participated in a lot of setup and behind the scenes stuff at a big convention. And to be absolutely clear, I am by far not the brains of that convention, but I rarely meet with them about convention ideas, and sometimes they listen to me. Also, I have been regularly going to and having tables at gaming and pop culture conventions since 2009 as a regular attendee, as a cosplayer, as the head of a now international cosplay group, and as an invited author guest. I've even done volunteer door security at a few conventions. Also, I've been at GenCon and PAX Unplugged multiple times, as well as quite a few Double Exposure sponsored cons, and I've even presented and crowd tested my own board game at Dreamation. There's a lot more I could throw out, but that's enough for now. I just want to show that I have a lot of experience with all sides of conventions. And I have no agenda here. I just want to help Double Exposure and DEXLite be a reasonably priced, successful, and fun convention that I would love going to every year. I really do see potential at DEXLite. It has a loyal audience from its many years holding the conventions. The staff I interacted with during my time there were really nice. The board games area was exactly what it should be. And I saw the sheer joy of one of the winners after they won a finger guns game tournament. So I believe it's worth saving, with some big changes. So if you're still listening to me, here's my tips to run a better show. Number 1, I'll start with the big one, price. DEXLite is not close to competing with GenCon and PAX Unplugged, so they can't charge similar prices. I'm thinking they charged that much because the Hyatt Regency was so expensive. It really is a beautiful hotel, and DEXLite had had their show there for many years. But those costs raised the ticket prices to the point of being unreasonable. A better bet would be to rent a smaller place like the Parsippany Police Athletic League, which has multiple rooms that you can hold tabletop, wargaming, RPG gaming, vendors, and panels. Even the Men in Ice Arena or local armory would work if they separated the larger areas into smaller ones with pipe and drape. And then afterwards, work out a deal with a local hotel, maybe even a Hyatt Regency, to get a block of rooms for a discount. Local hotels would love the amount of people you can guarantee into a well-attended show. It might not be held at the glamorous Hyatt Regency, but I'm betting Double Exposure could save enough money on the new location to drop the ticket price in half, or at least use the extra money to add entertainment, guests, or anything that would make the show pop more. And as an added bonus, parking at the new place would be free. Number 2, get better vendors, artists, and guests, and promote them. The vendors and artists that were there in 2023 were good, so keep them if you can, but add popular game publishers and or game designers. Give them panels to give aspiring game designers a place to learn from people who are actually doing it. Number 3, I know Envoy is its own independent game company, and they really did a wonderful job with tournaments and promoting their own designer games at the show. But DEXLite needs to have bigger game sellers and publishers and designers if they want to charge the prices they are charging, or at least drop the ticket price. Number 4, boost up the information and branding at the show. Put the registration desk up at the front of the show. This is your attendees' first contact at the show, and they need to be front and center. The staff at DEXLite were friendly and informative, but it seemed most attendees got their information from random gamers passing by. Again, promote the artists, panelists, and vendors going to the show, and put a proper online or paper map. Number 5, make it easier for shy people to find each other and play games together. Tom Vassell from the Dice Tower takes great pride in telling people in his videos that if you can't find someone to play a game with at one of his shows, come find him and he will find you people to play with. I have much respect for Tom, as he really does connect people at his events. I don't consider myself super shy, but when I walked into the board game room at DEXCON by myself, it really seemed that everyone was there with their own group of friends and they weren't open to outsiders. Happily, when my friends arrived and we were playing a game, one of the DEXLite staff came over and felt comfortable enough with us to ask us to join in the game. That wasn't the vibe at a lot of tables at DEXLite. Number 6, and for Pete's sake, get rid of the mandatory mask and proof of vaccine for the entire show. I am sympathetic to folks who are more susceptible. You can section off a safe area where everyone in that area needs to be vaccinated and masked, but not the whole convention. Masks and the vaccine were usually important in getting us through the pandemic, but even the medical community is on board with relaxing the mandates now. So that's my review for DEXLite 2023 and how to fix it. Like I said, the skeleton of the show has potential, but there needs to be some tweaks to make it a better value for what people paid. As of right now, my friends and I aren't going back. But in the off chance the promoters of the show see this video and saw this was done because I really want this show to succeed, and listen to me, I would totally reconsider going back. Now, if you enjoyed my review, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and give a big thumbs up to the video. It'll really help me out and can help bring more people into the hobby, which will help you when you're trying to find people to play your favorite game with. Deal? See you next episode.